Imagine waking up, stretching, brewing some coffee, and starting your day at your desk. No traffic, no commute, no crazy people, rear-ending you, no stress of the open road. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, for an increasing number of pharmacists, it's becoming a reality. We're talking about working from home as a pharmacist, and oh boy, is it something to be thrilled for. It's a revolution for our profession and bringing a huge wave of satisfaction. I have been talking with hundreds of pharmacists who've made this switch, and the transformation is, it's incredible, honestly. So in this video, I want to share with you what I've been learning after talking with them, after helping pharmacists make the transition, and why it could be a really great decision for you and your career, and also some things to be considering should you do this next for yourself. I think what many pharmacists think when they hear remote work, I think it's too good to be true, is a very common thought. They wonder, are these jobs even real? Maybe you can't find them. The ones that you do find only are contract work or they're prior authorizations, and who knows how long those positions will last. And can they make, a good living doing it? And do they have the right experience? But let me tell you that the opportunities in remote pharmacy are more real and more accessible than ever before. I want to dive into 10 reasons why I think you'll enjoy your work as a pharmacist after making this switch, and also provide you with some evidence about how this is a growing trend, and also just some things to consider, as not everything about remote work is greeny grass, okay? The number one reason why remote work is awesome is work-life balance. If you have been working 12-hour shifts, in-person shifts, overnight shifts, if you've barely have been seeing your family, you're missing important moments, you're feeling like life is passing you by, remote work is that change that could be a dynamic shift to making all those things possible. You can actually have breakfast with your family. Something that I regularly enjoy with my wife is just sipping tea and coffee on our porch. Being there for the important moments and actually feeling like you're living life can be so gratifying. I realize that I'm remote and I'm very privileged to be in this position. I worked hard for it. And one of the things that I've really benefited from is being able to work anywhere I want. In literally just a week after this recording, I am traveling, my family and I, all the way down to the warm, sunny coast of Texas. I don't know what that accent was. You're in control with remote. Need to take care of something important? Hey, you can plan around it. You can schedule focused time for collaborating with your work without having to sacrifice your personal life. One of our career advisors on our team, Teresita, has been not just having to deal with a newer baby in the family, but also just a lot of family life and drama. At one point she said that she needed to go, and I said, fine, take off. We'll take care of all your calls. Don't worry, we'll reschedule or figure out what to do, how to help them. It's about being able to handle what most is important in life, your family. Want to work out in the middle of the day? Hey, you can do that. It's not just about working from home, it's about getting your life back. The second reason why is no more commute. I want you to think about your current commute. How much time do you spend in traffic every day? 30 minutes, an hour, more? Imagine all that time coming now back to you. Your commute becomes the distance from your bedroom to your office. If your commute is only, let's say, 30 minutes a day, 15 minutes there, 15 minutes back, and that's a very short commute, times that, times 5 days in a week, times, let's say, 48 weeks in a year that you work with maybe 4 weeks off, that is 120 hours a year that you spend just driving to your job. That's 3 weeks of working. That's insane. But on the flip side, one of the downsides of working remote is that your place, your residence, becomes your workplace. And it's no longer, a sacred space, the car. one of the things that I do miss about driving to places is the ability to just sit and be forcing to think. What's going on in my life? What's going well? What needs to change? And you lose that. Then again, you can just spend time in your office doing nothing, sipping on tea and thinking. With that commute comes the third reason why remote work is great, and that's the cost savings. Let's talk about the financial impact, okay? Gas, car maintenance, coffee runs, eating out, parking fees, it adds up fast. When you work remotely, all of that money stays in your pocket. And yes, maybe you need to increase your internet fees. I know I have, but my job is very internet demanding. I mean, I stream sometimes. That's a lot of data, okay? But you don't need that for most typical jobs. Plus, the other cool thing is no more work wardrobe expenses. I mean, you don't... This is about as fancy as I get, guys. And let's be honest, I'm wearing sweatpants. You just can't see it. This may seem like small things, because in the moment, you know, 5, 10, 20 bucks here and there, but it adds up significantly over time. Let's just say that you only spend $5 a day for every shift that you work, and you work 48 weeks out of a year and 5 days out of the week, and you only spend $5. That's $1,200 a year you're spending on food or coffee. That's a lot of money that you get to save now. Number 4 reason is professional growth opportunities. Here's something fascinating about remote work. It opens doors and roles that you might not even know exist. I'm talking about pharmacovigilance, medical writing, clinical documentation, prior auth, opportunities that go beyond just the traditional pharmacy practice. And here's what's really exciting about remote work. You're often working in teams across the country and maybe even globally. That exposure to different perspectives and approaches, it's incredible professional development that happens naturally as a part of your workday. A huge benefit of remote work, I find, is not just because you get more time back, but you also regain passion and interest. One of our former clients, Amanda Prohaska, got into a specialty remote role, no training, no residency, from community, and she had a hospital job as well. And this renewed within her an interest within drug safety. She never was interested in before. She's bought classes and books, and it's making her thrive in that role. But having that space to have the energy to pursue, we're working with a client right now who wants a remote role so that he can start building his legacy farm. How stinking cool is that? The 5th reason is better focus and productivity. In clinical or patient-centric pharmacy, how many times are you interrupted when working? It's constant, right? Phone calls, patient questions, team questions, member requests. The list goes on and on. With remote work, you get to create your own environment. No overhead announcements, no constant interruptions from the team. You get to focus on the clinical work or whatever work it is and make decisions without constant disruptions. I recently implemented a new shift in my schedule where I have focus and buffer days. On focus days, I typically try to do just one thing, something that pushes me outside of my comfort zone and helps me grow in my skills and development. For me, that's teaching, it's speaking, researching, or it's a big project to help out my team members. On the downside, I have actually found that at times when I feel like things are slow, I sometimes get distracted or I look for distractions, particularly messages from my team. Because you no longer have the pressure of being around other people, it can be difficult to stay focused. The next reason why is geographical freedom. This is incredible. When you work remotely, you're no longer limited by location. You can work for companies anywhere in the country. You want to live in a small town but keep a clinical role? You can do that. You want to relocate your family to somewhere warmer? In many cases, you can take your job with you. The freedom to choose where you live while maintaining your career is powerful. You're able to visit your family. In my previous job as an ambulatory care pharmacist, I couldn't take off really very much. I always had one of the lower totem pole picks when it came to the holidays. I was not able to take off long weekends in order to visit my family. Typically, I took off half a day on Friday just to drive to my family. got to be there on Saturday, and then I had to drive back all day on Sunday. It was miserable. One of the downsides of remote work that you do need to consider is that some pharmacy companies enforce that you live within the state that they want you to practice in. Now, there is no consistency from state to state whether or not they mandate this, and some of these things are just company policies. So when applying to a company for a remote role, you need to be aware of which is which and what is what. The next reason why is lower stress levels. I mean, let's talk about it. We all know how intense our jobs are as pharmacists, but remote work typically has a slower pace. There's just no denying it. You're not dealing with in-person confrontations. You've got time to think through clinical decisions, and you can take a breather when you need one. It's a completely different way of practicing pharmacy. The next reason why is more meaningful patient interactions. Remote consultations are different, and I believe in a good way. Now, it can be difficult at times because when you're calling a patient or even video or remote, they may not be educated on how to do that. And they also may have distractions, which can take away from your work. But in many cases, if the company is planning these things well for you, because this is an operations thing, not really so much a pharmacist task, there should be no distractions. There's no waiting line. There's just you and the patient having a meaningful clinical interaction. Many patients are more comfortable now discussing their healthcare concerns from their own homes because customer and industry trends are showing us that telehealth is getting more and more widely accepted. No waiting, no driving. I love that. The next reason why remote work is great is career longevity. This is crucial. Remote work can extend your pharmacy career because the physical demands of being in person can take a toll on your body, whether you acknowledge it or not. In fact, I should probably show a picture here of like my treadmill. Being remote has allowed me to physically work out while I'm working. Because if I was in my old employee, and I have to admit, I had a very cushy pharmacist job. I sat at a desk all day. But that also led to weight gain. And we all know what that does to us. But if you're in retail, well, you're standing all day. And in some clinical jobs, you're also moving around and standing all day with no rest. It adds up over the years. Remote work can offer a balance and a sustainable way for you to live and work without that physical stress. And the final reason is a very selfish one for me. It's a dream come true. I have the benefit of being what some people call like a digital nomad. My work is online. I can work anywhere I want. And it is, yes, outside of traditional pharmacy roles. It's entrepreneurship. And in 2019, I got to do something that I dreamed I would do, which is to have a sabbatical. I was able to travel all around the country, from Michigan to the West Coast, to all the way down to California to the Mexican border, to halfway across the states, all the way to Florida, and then back home again. Over 3 months, I lived with my wife and my 2 beautiful girls in a van down by multiple rivers. And it was one of the best experiences of my life. Yes, we had some fights, but we had a great time. We got to see the world, and I got to see and experience my kids loving life. And no job, no matter how much money I could have made doing it, is worth more to me than that experience. Before we wrap up, I do want to share something really valuable that I think can help you. If you're serious about finding a remote pharmacy position, I've put together a comprehensive list of remote pharmacy jobs that most people don't even know exist. This isn't your typical job board list. These are thoroughly researched positions with real companies that are actively hiring remote pharmacists right now. I'm talking about roles in MTM, prior auth, pharmacovigilance, clinical pharmacy, and more. Pharma, of course, too. If you click the link in the description, I update this list regularly, so you'll be able to have access to it at your fingertips and start your search towards a job you'll enjoy. If you found this video helpful or inspiring for you to consider a remote role, I would love it if you would like it. If you disliked it, let us know what we could do differently in future videos. And subscribe, because we talk all things pharmacy careers here, and we're ever changing our content to make it better and better. Drop a comment below if you are remote and let us know what you like about it and what you dislike. You know, something I didn't share in this video that I dislike is the lack of interaction. I am more extroverted than introverted, and that is something I do wish I could have more of, seeing people regularly. So maybe I'll make another video that talks just about like, hey, remote sucks, and here's why. So until I see you in that video or in any of our future ones, stay curious and take care.